Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this Monday morning. We love Mondays because it starts a great week off for everybody, working, retired, or whatever. So we're just glad to be here. And I know a lot of y'all are sick and all, and take care of yourself, wash your hands, and just get over this flu epidemic we're having. Let's move on now with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. It's going to actually be 70, high 62. Sort of like the weekend, we're not got much, not much variance in the temperature, but it's just wet out there. So just be careful on the roads, and we've got some more rain coming. So this whole week, though, looking at the week, it's going to be a very mild week. I was looking at the temperatures last night. It's going to be up in the 70s most of the week and low in the 60s. And that's the first little sign of some mild weather. We've had a cold winter, which has been a good winter, and for everybody really, but it's be aware that it's going to start warming up soon. Moon phase now, we're again on a waxing moon, and it's going to be moving up, and got a full moon coming up next week. The Sandhill Seafood brings us that moon forecast every Monday. Now let's go to a look tide chart by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. We're looking over there. Still got these low morning tides and a high afternoon tides. And again, the wind's going to be coming south-southeast today at about 8 to 10 is what we have down. So that's going to sort of keep the water up into the bay system. So it should be a pretty good day if you can dodge this weather and all. So if not, ride through the woods and looking for sign and everything, and just enjoy yourself. A lot of y'all have off on these Mondays, so enjoy the outdoors. And let me go ahead and mention now, today's February 12th. Tomorrow will be the 13th, and Wednesday will be February the 14th. Guys, I want to tell you that right now, don't wait till February 13th at 7 o'clock that night and get your wife or sweetheart something, go to Walmart, get a little box of candy. Do something now. Make sure you get her something really, really nice. Our wives and sweethearts, they've just been special to us. And Valentine's Day, I don't care what anybody says, it's a special day. And they may say, don't give me anything, but they don't really mean it. You got to make sure you get them something, okay? We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's get started. This is a little bit a month away, but I'm going to go ahead and put this on your calendar if you're going to do something with some kids during the spring break over at the Biophilia Center over at Freeport. It's like a Wednesday, March the 21st from 9 to 2, and all kind of things the kids can do. And just get them in outdoors, and they can dip in the pond and things we did as a kid. Now they're charging $45 to do, or you can do it on your own. But anyway, that is good to have them doing that. All right, now, also keep in mind, we're wrapping up deer season this week, okay? Look at that calendar there. Let's start work from right to left. This is the last week. It's going to end February 18th. Now, make sure you realize it's going to end February 18th. Don't be one of Travis Bassford's case of the month and say, I didn't know it ended, because you heard here on the show, it does end on February 18th. But now, right after that, the next column, February 19th through 25th, will be muzzle loading. So you still have that extra week. So a lot of folks have gotten into muzzle loading now, and it's a good time to do it. Okay, so just be aware of what's going on. I also wrote down some late season deer hunt things to do this week, and I'm going to try to go a day or two this week if I can, and just make time to go. And one of the things I wrote down five F's. I like to do things, like little slogans. And last night I wrote these down. First of all, first F would be find the food. A lot of those bucks are moving around looking for food now. They're finishing the rut. They're hungry and all. So food. If you don't have feeders, though, you're looking for natural food, and they're going to be around that food. The second thing, find the cover. They're going to be in that cover, and they're going to stay thick, but they got to go back from food to the cover. So you want to find a place to sort of cut them off in that area. Also, the third one. Focus on an area, okay? Sort of like really get, if you know they're there, then focus on that area. Don't bounce around. I'm gonna go over there about 400 yards. He might go that way or over here. If you know he's in that area, stay there and focus on that area and play that wind. Know what that wind's gonna be doing. Today's coming out of south. Next day or two it should be coming out of north. And so you want to work on the other side of that. The fourth one is the front. Hunt the front. And we talk about that all the time. As the front starts coming in, that barometric pressure starts dropping. I can promise you, I can guarantee you 100%, it affects the fish and it affects the game when that barometric pressure starts dropping. And they're going to be moving ahead of that front, and know if you can just jump off and tell your boss you got to take off for after lunch because that front's coming through. He'll understand, I'm sure. And number 5, feeling. If you hunt a long time and all, you just got a feeling something's going to happen, and you got a feeling. Just go with your gut level feelings on hunting, and I can say that from the heart because you just got a feeling it's going to be that way, and it's a lot of times it ends up just like that. It's not a guarantee, but a lot of times. Okay, I want to move on now. After hunting, it's going to wrap up the next couple of weeks. We're in the springtime, and I always think I love these signs of springs that we get, and I can look out my yard and just see when spring is coming, and I start walking through the woods. It's still early, it's not there yet, but we're right on the verge of it. And I know here locally, we always look for the honeysuckle, what we call the wild azalea, and the dogwood, the pear tree, and they just start budding out. It's a little early, but also the birds. If you have a bird feeder and all, here locally, when the bluebirds start building a nest, is one of the sure signs of spring. And last week, I had one of my friends on Facebook said that she saw some bluebirds, and she's up on her yard. She knows what's going on all the time. She saw the bluebirds she watches every year in this area. They're starting to build a nest, so that's a good sign. So birds, also all kind of things here. I've got some pictures I'll show you. Any kind of the smell in the air, any kind of flowers starting budding out. Okay, and then of course you also have just those misty mornings. You can sort of see a misty morning because that's the temperature and all. And I just found these pictures here, and also they talked about frogs. And if you have any water around the house, man, the frogs, they haven't started yet, but they're going to start pretty soon. The frogs just start, you know the noise they make. So know what those frogs are doing. And I have this little pond in my front yard. It's a little small one, but man, it sounds loud. And then they talk about the salamanders. I don't see a lot of these, but I know if you're around a lot of water, the salamanders start coming out and congregating. So all these little signs of spring. And then, of course, in the fishing viewpoint, we start thinking about fishing in March always, and we always guess about the water temperature being 66 or 68. The first run of the Spanish mackerel, that is really big time. The Spanish mackerel come in, and it'll be sometime in March, and that sort of kicks off the fishing for the year. So we're real close to that. So be aware of it. Know what's going on, and be in the right place at the right time. Let's take a break. We'll come right back. Okay, welcome back. We're getting ready to show video, and one of the things before we get into video, I noticed, speaking of springtime and all, we have all kind of music and played out at the beach, and I see where they're closing a pier to have a concert. And there's some upset fishermen, and I can understand that, and I'm on their side. I'll be honest with you, anytime that you take, that you close off an area and all that, even though it's temporary, you sort of taking advantage of it. And I'm very proud of my friend Guy Tennell on the Bay County Commissioner. He got outvoted 4-1, but he stood up for the outdoorsman. And the excuse they used was sort of tickled me. If the commissioner voted against it, to close it, and he said that because of safety, they don't want, and we're all in favor of having it be safe and all. But I was thinking, here's Guy Tennell, who was a Lynn Haven police chief, Bay County sheriff, head of Florida law enforcement. If anybody knows anything about safety, Guy Tennell does. So if you couldn't sell Guy Tennell on a safety issue like they tried to, and other commissioners voted to close it, I'm really disappointed for them for closing the pier, because I'm sure that could be done without closing the pier. And to add insult on the injury, the music they're not playing country, they're playing alternative rock or something. So even that's an insult to the outdoorsmen. So anyway, anytime that we get something goes against outdoorsmen, and we talked about this a while back when they started charging in this Panhandle for launching a boat. Now, I know you're tired of me talking about it. You should not have to pay on a public boat ramp to launch your boat. And the city, Port St. Joe City Commission voted, and then followed by Mexico Beach did it. And y'all are wrong. Y'all flat out wrong. And I don't get angry. I just get really upset at y'all doing stuff like that, because the City Commission got away with it because they knew to get voted back in because they let the citizens of St. Joe get in free. But it's just not the right thing to do. And so anyway, and we need, honestly, we need more outdoorsmen in politics, in county commissioners and city commissioners, on school boards. So if you outdoorsmen want to run and all, I certainly will try to support you just on the principle of you being a strong outdoorsman and an advocate for the fishermen and hunters and environmentalists here in the Florida Panhandle. I feel very strong about that. So anyway, let's move on. Now I got this little video coming up. We always talk about, outdoorsmen, or tips for outdoorsmen, how to do things. And this particular one on how to clean a speckled trout. Speckled trout season has been really good. And this is one of my friends, Marion Smith, doing it. Marion Smith has caught, you couldn't put in this room the amount of speckled trout he's caught in his lifetime. And years ago, back when he started, there weren't even limits on speckled trout. So he would catch a lot of them. So he learned real quick on how to do it right way. Of course, he's a good outdoorsman and goes over limits and all that. And you're going to enjoy how this video runs and all, because what it does, it's a really quick way. I want you to see how much meat is left. That's one of Panhandle Outdoors tips to make you a better outdoorsman. So Jeff, let's run this video. Okay, folks, I'm here with my good friend Marion Smith, and we have a couple of nice trout. We're going to do a Panhandle tip, and last time I was out with Marion, we came back and cleaned these fish, and he has the most unique way of cleaning fish. I said, listen, next time I'm going to bring my camera, I want you to show our viewers how to do it. So Marion, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us how you're going to do it and what you're going to do.
Okay, I'm starting off with the electric knife. And as you fillet them, the secret's to go to the backbone and cut straight down. Stay right on the backbone or you'll waste the meat.
Okay, so you keep the fillet attached.
Yeah, keep the fillet attached to the tail, and then come down. And then you got the perfect fillet here.
That looks so easy.
Turn him over. Turn him over and be sure to not go through the backbone or you can't do it. And if y'all will see how thin the skin is, and you can basically read a newspaper through the backbone.
Cat's
no lost meat.
There's no lost meat at all. The cat's gonna starve to death eating the rest over that, ain't he?
All right, let's try one more, and we'll call that it.
Okay. All right. So you're hugging the backbone.
You can feel the backbone as you go down it. Just keep the skin attached, like Winston said earlier. And here again, see how thin the skin is?
Wow.
And you can see the backbone here.
Yep.
The ridge line.
He's working on the backbone there. You make it look so easy there, Marion.
Okay, that's both of them. Then the next thing we'll do is lay it on this cutting board.
Okay.
Cut the rib cage out.
All right. So folks, you see what you're going to end up getting here. So you're not having to gut the fish, scale the fish, or anything. You're getting 4 beautiful fillets of fish.
See, you've got two
Look at that.
very pretty fillets.
That's a great job, Marion. The Marion Smith way.
For fry, cut them in nugget size,
Yeah.
and roll, leave them fillet size.
Okay. Well, that is great, bro. Thank you, Marion. That's a great Panhandle tip for Panhandle Outdoors. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video. That's a real life situation there, and that looks so easy to do. And the first couple of times, I'm sure you're going to be leave a little meat on there. Once you learn how to do and how to get that, right there on that skin right there. And a lot of folks are doing that. I watch these guys do it commercially. down at Tarpon Dock or down at the St. Joe Marina, and it's amazing how so a lot of them do it with just a regular fillet knife. That's why you got to have a fillet knife to do something like that, real thin bladed. So we're out fishing right around the corner. A lot of y'all will be catching a lot of fish. And anytime you can get that skin off of a fish, whether it be a catfish, a brim, or snapper, whatever, most people now, back in the day we ate skin and all, but most people now are taking the fish, keeping the skin off of it. All right, let's take a look at our fish and game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. Our times today, we're looking at 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. That's a convenient time. And tonight, 9:54 to 11:54. And as we start wrapping up on hunting season, I always reflect back, and a lot of times I think about my thoughts when I sit, and I talk about this all the time when I'm in either a ground blind or a tree stand, whatever, just out in the woods. So, and you just have, again, a deep appreciation of nature, and you love it and all, and you got all these thoughts come to your head, and you look around, and well, I wonder why that is and all. I wrote down the other day some thoughts I have in my ground blind, and these are just minimum thoughts because I've talked about, you don't have to show them, I'm just going to call them out. I just wrote them down. First of all, I'm thankful because in wintertime we can sit out in the woods and have no mosquitoes. Yes, we have no mosquitoes, and I was thinking about that because I know pretty soon they're going to start coming back. And I was wondering about the guys that hunt down around the river and all. And Randy Burling, I know you watch the show every morning, and I know you hunt out of Howard's Creek, north of Howard's Creek there in that lease. I just wondered if y'all had mosquitoes this year with such a cold winter. So give me a call on that because I was just curious about, if you're around a lot of water like the Apalachicola River system or Choctawhatchee River system, because you got those sloughs and all, and mosquitoes are bad there. I just wondered if y'all had them. And then I got a gopher hole over to the left of my ground blind. I was looking at it, and in the wintertime, the rattlesnakes go in that gopher hole, and that's where they go. That's where they stay in cold weather. Now they'll come out some. If they can get in the warm sunlight, they'll come out some in the middle of the day on cold days, but they go right back in and sort of semi-hibernate. And, the gophers are in there too. And I wonder, I know it sounds silly, but I was wondering, do they communicate with each other? How do they make room? You get on that side, I get on this side, or whatever. But, a rattlesnake is fatal. I wonder if the gopher just moves over out of his way, or if the rattlesnake moves away from gopher. Now, I don't know the answer to that. Another thing, you look at the trees. If you hunt the same area each year, you look at your trees and all, especially the pine and the oaks. And I was wondering, my pine trees are getting really tall. I was wondering what's the growth rate of a pine tree? You ever think about that? How each year, if you hunt the same area and all, that tree over there, last year that tree wasn't that tall, and it's called just growing. And the dynamics of the woods, the beauty of it, how it changes, how things are blooming, and this vine over here is not a factor this hunting season, but next hunting season it's going to cover this area. So you got to maintain that at the same time. I keep everything natural. I don't go in and cut stuff. I mean, I cut limbs and all and clear stuff out underneath. And ideally, you want that canopy. You want a canopy of big trees and all, and underneath it, you want to be able to look through it. And that's my goal. And each year I think I'm close to it, and then during the hunt season, I said, why didn't I cut that? Because it's right where the scrape is, so I didn't want to do that. So next season, I'm always planning for next season what I want to do. So these are some of the thoughts that go through your head, and I know y'all have the same kind of thoughts. And a lot of y'all say, what we're going to have for supper tonight? I'm getting hungry, and I get like that too. So make sure you get your beanie weenies and whatever. So anyway, but just the hunting in general, wrapping things up, the stories you get and the camaraderie you get to hunt with other people and all. And we talked the other day. I had these horns here on the show, and I talked about how you measure them and get numbers and everything. And I think as hunters sometimes we overdo how big the antlers are. That's really, and we're all guilty of it. And we think it's so important that I killed 150 point or 160 point. And it's really about the camaraderie and the game itself, the pursuit of the game. I know. Growing up, we would, like I told you before, my cousin has a state record, but we would hunt some hard areas to hunt, and sometimes we'd get a smaller buck, but the thrill of the hunt and the thrill of the camaraderie and working together, teamwork and all, and getting that buck was not, you could not surpass it. I don't care if somebody else killed a big one over there in a field and all. And I know the guys down at Howard Creek, bow and those, they call them the Wimico, those Lake Wimico bucks. That's some hard hunting down there to get to those big bucks and all. But they bring one out every now and then, and they're so proud of it. And I know exactly where it's coming from. It may not be a big old wall hanger like some people get in an open field with a feed and everything else, but they get that same satisfaction hunting that buck as one does hunting getting that big old 160-point one. So any kind of water system, I know the Tate's Hell area is a tough area to hunt. The Chalkatahatchee River system, those guys and girls that hunt those areas and all are very proud of it. And while I'm on here, I want to talk about, each year I try to go over the number of bucks that's taken. There's been a lot of them taken, but I still want to look at the state. Okay, here we go right here. This is top 10 typical bucks ever killed in the state of Florida. That number 1 right there, that's Larry Furr, and our moms were sisters. They're both passed on now. Larry's still doing well up in Gaston County. It's 168 and an 1/8 point, and that was killed naturally. And again, looking at the different counties, at one time the Panhandle dominated the counties, but in 2014, that wasn't that long ago, the number 3 buck was brought out of Marion County, which was the Ocala National Forest, and then it goes on down Pasco County, Dixie County. That's all, north central Florida, and Alachua Way. 2 of them from Gainesville. Then Madison, Taylor, and Madison, 8, 9, and 10 were taken, and those, most of them, and that number, 157 points. They all see how close they are. Again, that was by these measurements right here taken, but I can promise you, those bucks taken in the swamps and all folks were just happy with those. But anyway, that's a typical buck. I don't think the state record will ever be broken because of the different dynamics of the DNA and bucks have been brought in behind fenced areas and all. So that's a pretty strong area there. Got to wrap things up. Got a big show planned tomorrow. Got some guests coming in this week and all kind of cool things. So it's a Monday morning, so y'all get up and get to work and do the best you can at work and do a good job. And if you get a chance, do something good for your fellow man. Enjoy the great outdoors. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.